Hi there, I'm Paul Inkpen, editor of Run Magazine. I'm also the editor of Triathlon Magazine, Road Bike Magazine and Mountain Bike Magazines, and the host of many triathlons in South Africa and in Mauritius actually. So my life is multi-sport. I live and breathe to be outside every day. And I guess I'm a little bit type A or ADD or a few of those things where I just want to achieve lots and do lots and try lots of things. I'm always doing variation. I'm in my surf ski on a windless day. I'm swimming on the Robben Island crossings when the challenge confronts me. This mountain here is on my back doorstep. I live right here. And I'm here at the UTCT start and I'm seeing all my brethren, and there are a lot of people who are chatting, and as they're chatting they say, I see you've got the new Fenix 8 there. And the Garmin Fenix 8 is a pricey watch. It's 28 grand's worth of a lot of tech. It's for someone who really values an outdoor lifestyle. If you think about the modern car costing half a bar plus, and what we spend on all kinds of other things, I think the investment's worthwhile. And I wouldn't have thought so before I started playing with it. So what the Fenix 8 has done for me in particular is when I'm swimming in the ocean, the AMOLED screen is from another level. It's bright, shiny, you can see it deep underwater. I love that. Maybe it's because I'm in my 50s and the sight isn't what it was once, the short sight, but I've got very clear vision the rest of the time. But even when I haven't got vision, I have the ability to push a button and voice prompt things like spotlight. So it's got a little torch built on the side, which I never dreamt would be something I'd have on my watch, which I've kind of enjoyed on my phone. But the days of needing a flashlight are gone because I can literally see the trail on it. I can see details, I can see stuff in my pack. I love that. As I'm standing here, I'm getting WhatsApps and emails on here, so I'm never disconnected from the office. So when I'm up there on the mountain, I actually feel like I'm plugged into the world. If I want to be or not, I can switch it off obviously. And what I find really amazing is the other day a call came in, my phone was packed into my running pack, and I pushed the button and I answered and I could speak. And I hadn't even realized that I could speak to the person through the watch, which was amazing. I did have to have my phone with me, so no, it doesn't have a cellular chip in it, which probably the next version will have. So that's a bit of a downfall with something that's so connected that it doesn't have that. From a weight point of view, they've got 3 different sizes, which I like. So a feminine wrist or a smaller person who prefers a lighter watch, great. This isn't the solar powered one, which can add massive battery power, but to be honest, my longest day is an Ironman. I'm not going to be out there for much more than 10, 11, 12 hours in anything. I'm a one-day warrior. I'm not that kind of push through the night like these psychos doing 100 miles. The Fenix range covers all your sports, and that's what I really love. I turn it on, I find my sport, click on it, and it can be literally anything. Pickleball. I don't even know if we have pickleball in South Africa. I see it on here. I can do golf. I mean, literally, I've been on a dive, and I didn't go much beyond 15 meters, but I could have gone to 40 meters. And all the dive capabilities are in here. So I must say, like, I would never have said I would have wanted to buy one, but I would buy one. It's very well constructed. I love the soft feel strap. It's very strong casing. I've banged it a couple of times already. I've fallen. When I finish swimming, when I push the button, it ejects. It's got a water casing on the inside, so it doesn't take water in on swims in particular. The triathlon setting, another great one. I'm a triathlete and I love that. And most importantly, what I wouldn't have thought I would love years ago, because I'm a little old school, is things like battery readiness. Now, that's talking about your body battery. That's a new concept of being healthy and ready. We talk about heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is the even spacing between your heartbeats. So you might have a low heart rate, or your watch might say you're prepared because you've done the training and you've done the recovery. But if you are really healthy and well and in optimal condition, that heart rate variability score will be good. Your battery score will be good, and then you know you're in for a good race. And if you're picking an A race, for an example, something like this here at UTCT, if someone's trained for a 100 miler, they're probably not going to do more than one of those a year. It might be a Doug Pickard or a few of the other guys that I know well who would pick a few of those, but the average person, this is going to be an A race. And you want to make sure that everything's lining up for that. And there are built-in things like the pacer. I mean, the pacer technology is amazing. It uses your information. All the info you've put in on the last 2, 3, 6 months of training is built into the watch to say, right, when Paul wants to do, call it 6 hours for the 35K or 4.5 hours, whatever I decide, it's going to say you're going to need to run the climbs at this pace, and I'm going to have a pacer, and I can see where I should be versus where I am in order to finish in one piece and not just attack it and blow up or start too easy and realize later that I have to make up too much time. So I think that's an amazing bit of technology. The health and wellness readings, the information I pick up every morning when I click on and say, how's my variability, how's my sleep score. So checking on your sleep, okay, I'm not in optimal condition, so I'm not going to push today. I'm going to find a chance to rest. It's like having a coach on your wrist. And years ago we didn't have this info. And some people might say, well, it's almost unfair, because there was a time when we all relied on feel and self-knowledge, and of course self-awareness is critical. But I don't think you'll lose that, because the more info you've got from a technical point of view, where years ago we trained super hard, super far all the time, we've now learned that the 80-20 principle is there. Again, my watch will say, this is how much time you spent in the aerobic zone, in the anaerobic zone, how much fat burning. This is just so much information. So I think if you really value health and fitness, and you really value time up on mountains and in the sea and on roads I'm doing the double century this weekend, 200 Ks. I know we're going to take 6-7 hours. I need to know, it's going to tell me how much liquids, how much carbs, it's going to give me advice a lot of the time. When I'm on a trail and I want to know where the nearest bit of water is, it'll tell me there's a river coming up or there's a dam on your left. That's the stuff we didn't dream of years ago. So I'm a big fan, but you would maybe be asking, but I had the Fenix 6, I had the Fenix 7, I had one of the previous generation watches. There's a lot of watches in the range, and there's a lot of other watches out there. So I'm going to chat to the head of the technical side of Garmin, the guru. Tato is here with us at the launch of at the opening of the UTCT. Tato, come and have a chat to us quick. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for always being there for when I ask you the technical questions when I'm being a bit of a tech phobe. Just give us a little heads up on what's different. Why would I go from the 7 to the 8?
Alright, so the reason why you'd go from the 7 to the 8 is they've done a lot. There's a lot of changes on the watch, especially it being software and hardware on the device. So what they've done is on the 8 they've offered things such as you've got your OLED with your solar, you've got your OLED with your sapphire, which is something you didn't have on the 7s. On the 7s it was either you get an OLED, you get solar, but you don't get the sapphire.
Sure.
So they've basically added that, encompassed that into what a lot of people have been asking for, and it's
so just to talk on that then. Okay, so I really love the bright visible screen.
True.
Maybe it's my age, maybe it's the fact that I never had a bright screen. In the old days we had those tiny little grey letters on a grey screen. Nightmare, you couldn't hardly see it. That said, there are times when I spend a weekend away, like I was in Chamonix 4 months ago following the 100 mile, and I was out on the mountains for 24 hours. There was no way I was getting near anything. I wanted to keep all the climbs, I wanted to keep the GPS, I wanted all that stuff. And there's going to be people who do that for 3, 4, 5, 6 days. When I was in the Rift Valley Odyssey in Kenya, we were 8 days on the road. So there are going to be people who really value battery power. How much value is added by the solar power?
It adds quite a bit, especially like you say, you in the outdoors 5-6 hours a day and whatsoever, adds a bit of value, especially in such conditions. I mean, the sun is out, it is beautiful, and I mean in 50,000 lux conditions, performs perfectly.
So what, like, would you say extra 40%, 50% battery power?
Yeah.
As much as
40,
that?
50, as much as that, yes.
Well, okay, so that's a lot. So you got the option on that. You got option on screen sizes.
You got screen sizes.
So if you were someone who didn't know any of the watch brands, etc., what if someone said to you, well, why must I spend so much money? What would be your answer?
My answer would be if you are dedicated to being a sports person, a fitness person, you need the best equipment. And definitely getting something that's going to basically give you a buck for your bite, I'd definitely go for either the 8 right now, because like I said, they've changed the hardware on the device, they've changed the firmware on the device. It is absolutely much more responsive, better, and it is a great watch overall.
Okay, so if someone, I mean, obviously there are so many sports. I was talking now, I mean, I saw pickleball on there. I don't even know what that sport is. So every conceivable sport is on here. So would you say it's very much geared towards a multi-sporter, someone who does lots of different sports?
Yes, it's very much geared to multi-sporters, and especially if you've got that friend that you're like, no, get yourself a Fenix set, even if they don't do multi-sport, but their sport is on there. So if someone's just basically, oh no, I do yoga, I do paddle, their sport is there.
No yoga, whatever it is.
Their sports is there, even
that's with training programs and feedback info related to that sport.
To that particular sport that you're doing, especially because it takes into account your heart rate during that, how intense that particular workout is, and then from there on end, it builds, it learns you, to basically offer you the best in terms of if you're going to be doing a training program, this is how you need to work and whatsoever. And if you're going to start, for instance, let's say you start doing a marathon, like some people, this is their first UTCT and they've got Garmins. I've seen a lot of people with Garmins, and I'm sure those Garmins have been tailored because they've been using them for years and months. They know that, okay, this is how long you're going to take to finish this, and this is the kind of pace that you'd need.
So that's fine-tuned technical advice.
Yes.
So basically a little coach sitting inside
a little coach sitting, yes.
Costs, I suppose, if you're going to pay a coach over years, it's going to end up paying for the watch anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, thank you, Tata. That's it's great feedback. And yeah, I would say, I mean, obviously the beauty of it is in trying it. Get online, have a look at the features. I would imagine that over time there will be something like a connected cellular chip in the next device. So that's probably the only downside, apart from a price which might seem outrageous, but when you look at how much you spend on other things, a pair of carbon soled shoes now, 5-6 grand for a running shoe, you know, dive equipment, etc. This is the watch that fits into all of that. So super impressed from the last few months, and certainly as someone who's starting to value sometimes checking in on overtraining and making sure that I'm really prepared for a race and I know what I'm in for. There are times when I look and I think, actually, a sub 3.5 marathon is actually on the cards. When I probably would have thought, no, you know, those I haven't been doing enough running. But it's taking into account all the swims and bikes and other things I've done.
Yes.
So yeah, next level. Really like it.